Good night, everyone. Just tonight, God is good and God is good all the time. My name is Reverend Jill Spirit Divine. I'm here to give you some news on tonight. And we're gonna talk about the AP program and the DEI program. That decided to he announced planning to block DEI program in States College. DEI, Florida governor, planning to block State College, from the program of DEI and critical race theory, an attack on black education system and LGBTO people in the public education system. So he still, first he wanted to block the AP program for African American. He don't want that being teacher in the class. So now he wants to block the DEI program. So he also expect to launch it on 2024. He also previous blocked, AP, like I just said, he previously blocked that, that course, African American studies from being taught in high school, stated that it violate state law. So the black history do not violate no kind of law. It's a history, of what happened to the ancestors, of what they went through. It don't violate, any kind of law. So you want to block DEI program, you know, but it's a good program. It's a good program. To help company, build the term by developing customized and strategies to entice employment and promotion. So this program does all this stuff here, to opportunity, throughout the organization. So it also help, into operation, infrastructure, analyze information to develop the framework, with goals and achievement, action as design. So this program don't seem like, it gonna violate anything. AP course, it don't seem like it gonna violate anything. These is some good programs that it sound like, So it's designed to advance DEI. So you also want to block AP program course. So you have two programs that you want to block. State, violate state law. So now DEI, AP, are two good programs that will not do any kind of harm to no one. It will not violate anything. So DEI, helping building infrastructure and develop framework. So the AP does not violate, but being spoke on what happened, in history. So seem like we are being robbed out of our history. You want to rewrite history. You want to delete some stuff out of history. Um, it's like you just want to erase history and don't want no one to discuss about the history. You know, so I would not have both programs to be blocked. So I unblock, both programs, to remain permanent policy. So so Florida governor, he pursue a policy to block teaching, or discuss, about America racist past and present. So he don't want no one to discuss, anything about history, anything about race, race theory. You can't teach about history if you can't speak about race theory. So he don't want the teachers, the children, he don't want no one to discuss or hear anything about history or anything about American history, racist theory. He don't want to hear about. They can't discuss it at all. So you can't talk about history without race theory. The past, what happened with our ancestors or what they had went through. So he trying to have it not be on, he just don't want it to be spoken at all. So the First Amendment, so he's saying you don't want to discuss about it. The First Amendment, protect us against the governor, limit on our freedom of expression. So the First Amendment also prevent the government from requiring to say something or keeping us from hearing or reading the word of others. We have the right to receive and hear information. We have the freedom of speech. So the First Amendment that we have freedom of speech. So the first five freedom it protects under the First Amendment. Speech, religion, press, assembly, the right to petition the government. So these five, guarantee freedom, and make the people of the United States of America free to speak in this world. So you can't really stop someone from talking about history or what had happened in history or say anything about race there. You know, because under the First Amendment, they say it protects us for our freedom of speech. So the Florida governor, you cannot stop someone from discussing about anything in the school about history, about anything about race there. Because under the First Amendment that we have the freedom of speech. We can speak or hear or anything that have to do with history. So it seems like history are trying to be erased. But what is here, to remain. You're trying to ban, it in being taught in classrooms. So you you don't want the teachers to teach anything about history. You don't want anybody to discuss anything about history. Without race theory. You can't talk about history without race theory. So you don't want to talk about history. You don't want them to talk about anything. But our young generation, they ought to, they have to know about our history. And us adults, some of us still, want to learn about our history. Because we wasn't there. So we have to see it on TV, or we have books that we can get and read. But if our young generation now have the access to try to learn and read from the AP course, why not? Why not let the young generation learn about our history? So Florida governor effort to restrict public college, that critical and race theory and DEI program, wouldn't get no funds. So he's that disturbed, that he don't want nobody to discuss anything about it. So now he's saying he don't want to do no funding of the DEI, program. So he also blocking the AP course. He wants to make multiple changes. That appear designed to please right wing political. So it's African American history. So how you feel like you want to change our history? You want to delete certain stuff that's in the history. How can you do that? When it's not your history. So I don't understand what is the big problem with history. That is just getting so out of control. So he also, having a proposal, to block DEI, critical race theory, program, race and the standards of learning and civil discourse course of public higher education. So my bill of proposal, permanent policy. So I'm unblocking DEI and AP program, what he blocked. So he blocking and I unblocking. So these is both good programs. I don't see it's not violating anything. So I unblock it, and our DEI and AP program, I quest for it to remain. So it's not violating anything in both programs. Is helping and learning the young generation about history. So it should be taught in school. So I request that both programs, you know, to remain, so the young generation, can learn the background of the history. So you also don't want no one to discuss anything in the classroom, the teachers and all, a race theory, but it's under the First Amendment, that protect freedom of speech. So this permanent policy, will guarantee freedom, to make the people of the United States of America, the free of speech in the world, you know, and this will be under the First Amendment, So, and I request that our history do not be deleted. It do not be erased, and it do not be deleted. I request that our history remain. I request that our young generation, learn EP program, DEI program. You know, so I'm unblocking what he blocked, and I request that DEI and AP remain. And for us discussing anything in a classroom, we have freedom of speech is which under First Amendment, that will protect, a freedom of speech. So that's all the word I have for you today. And I just talked about, Florida governor, he blocked the program. And he already previous had blocked AP program, and I unblocked both programs because I don't see anything wrong with the program, because the young generation have to learn about the history. We still have some of us adults still trying to learn our history, you know. And I think the program it'll be a good program, for them to learn, the history, So when they do see it on TV or anybody, talk about it, they'll have first hand on learning from the program, you know. So that's all the news I have for you today. So these five guarantee, freedom. The five that I named: speech, religion, press, assembly, and right to petition the governor. Of freedom that will protect us under the First Amendment. So that's all the news I have for y'all today, and I'll see y'all on the next video. Have a blessed night.